Something neat about Addison is that we're small, but also like the cogs in a big machine. There's a lot of detail and there's a lot of forethought that go into these apparatus. We want to make sure that we're getting something suitable for Addison, specific to our needs. The support from the city leadership is essential, and we're very fortunate to have the support for public safety to provide the town with excellent fire apparatus. Engine 101. It's a 2018 Sutton heavy-duty pumper with a 73-inch cab, 235 cubic feet of equipment storage. This new apparatus was built with many design improvements for the Addison Fire Department fleet. The pumper has an overall lower crosslay or hose height for firefighter safety and quicker deployment. The cab's cooled with an extreme service climate control AC and an auxiliary AC to combat our Texas heat. It also carries medication and things that we use for emergency medical services calls, and that's why it's important to keep those climate controlled as well. It's a diesel-powered fire apparatus and offers a powerful yet clean exhaust system to help reduce the environmental impact in Addison and the surrounding areas. It has a hands-free hose bed cover that opens by push button to assist with the ease of loading and protection of the lines from the sun. It also keeps firefighters from having to climb up and down as much on the top to open up the bed. An additional upgrade was made with water and foam capabilities. This apparatus carries 950 gallons of water and 50 gallons of Class B foam. Up until today, the largest amount of water that our apparatus carried was 750 gallons. All right. The larger water tank gives our engine an advantage on the airport as sometimes water is limited. Engine 101 has a remote-controlled deck gun on top, capable of flowing 1,250 gallons per minute, without firefighters having to climb on top of the engine to do so. This increases safety for the crew and is much more efficient. The engine uses all LED lighting, emergency and scene lighting, and it's the first apparatus in our fleet that has a new look with the black stripe. And you see it on our squad also. But that's something that we decided as a department that we really wanted to see. It was input from the firefighters. And what you can't see on that black stripe, it looks black during the day, but anytime headlights hit it, it's just as bright as any of the white stripes we have on our apparatus. We feel very confident that Engine 101 will serve the community and its staff for many years to come.
We can't make this town a better town and without this fire department. I'm so proud last year we received the highest in the ISO rating, and for the first time ever. And by having all the good equipment, fire engine, we can even ensure our first responders will deliver the best service ever, than anywhere else. So give them a round of applause, please. Since I'm a restaurant guy, I want to use one example. May not be 100% the same, but we always like to say a great Chinese housewife cannot cook a complete good meal without rice. So, any work, if you don't have good fire engine, fire truck, you can never deliver a great service. So with that, I congratulate City of Addison, the Town of Addison. We have a great staff, and I'm proud of you. And keep the good work and make Addison a better place to live, work, play every day. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to move along and tell you a little bit about the history about today's ceremony. And as you know, the fire departments are steeped in tradition, and this is definitely one of them. This is a push-in ceremony. So traditionally, the push-in and wet-down came around because long ago, before there were these large apparatus like we have now, there were horse-drawn fire apparatus. And when they returned from a fire, they had to be pushed back into the station. Horses don't back in very well, especially with something tied to the back of them. And also, they were wet down and washed off because of mud and dust and things they pick up and the manure that they accumulate at the same time. But so the firefighters would wash off their horses in the carts, and then they would put the horses in the stable, and they would push the carts back into the bays. Before we wet down these apparatus and pay tribute to the history of a century-old custom, we're going to ask our civic leaders and fire fighting fans of all ages to place their hands on these apparatus, while our Addison Fire Chaplain, Eric Weemet, who will come up here in a second, will lead us in a dedication to the community and a prayer for the safety of our responders. And after that prayer, we're going to wet the rigs down, and if you haven't had to grab a towel yet, we've got some souvenir towels for you to grab and wipe them down. And then finally, the last thing is we're going to push everything into the bay. We'll push them both in, and then we have a special set of tones that we'll activate, which will officially put those apparatus in service, and that'll conclude everything.
Many of us have grandparents that grew up talking about like the Iceman or the Dairyman showing up, like making home deliveries, right? That doesn't happen anymore. We don't have doctors that make house calls, but we still have the fire department that shows up every time they're called, every time. That's just something special about something so essential is when I need help, you dial this number and the right people come and they bring the right skills. And Chief, you hire well, you train well, but there's no way to piggyback, Mayor, off your rice here with the Chinese housewife. You just cannot serve well without the right equipment. Right? You can hire and train at the highest level, but without the best in equipment and apparatus, and it would be impossible to have not only this ISO rating, but also to deliver the quality service that the residents and the business folks in Addison have come to expect, but also be blessed by. I think sometimes we don't have to look far around the city or our country, even the world, in order to understand what a blessing it is to have help arrive when you need it. There's many folks in the world for whom they do not have 911, they do not have the best in apparatus, and they're just kind of left to whatever happens. And that's a pity, and it is worth the folks here at Addison investment to just to helping a needy person. There's something just so elementally human about when we need help, help arrives. I don't know that we think about that a lot. It's so intrinsically elemental to what you do, Chief. But there's just something beautiful about when we need help, it's there. From a spiritual standpoint, as chaplain, I can't help but think about that. From a logistical standpoint, when you need something, it arrives. Sometimes, as Abe Lincoln said, when something is so constantly enjoyed, we tend sometimes to forget that from which it came, that who provides the blessing. In this case, it's the blessing of a city council and the taxpayers of Addison, and then we are blessed in return by the great service. I think that's a fantastic way to lead into what we're about to do. So yeah, I'm ready for the blessing here whenever you're ready. All right, here's our blessing. For the many people over the course of the coming years that will benefit from the sight of the lights and the sound of the sirens as trained, capable folks come to their aid. Father, we give you thanks. May the many miles, many hose lays, many opening up of the medical boxes, the foam, the water, all that comes forth from these vehicles. It is a blessing upon someone who called for help. We ask, Father, that there might be night and day, wind and rain, summer, winter, regardless of all those conditions, there might be a constant response. The tone, sound, and the help is desired. Father, I pray that these vehicles might start, that they might move, that they might go towards the person who is in need and distress. And as they bring capable hands with knowledge and skill and equipment, Father, I pray that they might bring it quickly, that they might get there in time to save a life. For Father, we are all connected. If it's our parents, if it's our children being helped, Father, we want them to get there. We thank you for this dedicated unit here that is going to help put out fires, for this dedicated unit that's going to help with the skyscrapers, with the tunnel, with the restaurants, the many business folks that come in and out of town here. This is an active area. There's a lot. We celebrate well, but Father, we work hard too. So I just ask that you might, in your infinite wisdom, allow these vehicles to serve people. They are just instruments in the hands of skilled professionals. We ask that for as long as they stay in service, from just a few minutes from now when the tone sound, Father, until the final call, these rigs roll out. Father, we ask that you might keep the firefighters and those inside safe as they travel, that they might be able to be used well, that they might be used to their full extent, they might at their last final call have so many great memories of lives that have been once in this area brought to them. Father, we ask that you might be with coming in and know that help is on the way. Hands who are there to help. Father, even in our own brokenness, know that there are things that are even bigger and longer and stronger and more eternal in this world than our human body. Father, we thank you that you allowed paramedics, EMTs, lifesavers to try and understand how you knit us together so that we might help. Find broken bones also. Yes, and not in our own power, but in your Son Jesus. Amen. Amen.
All right, let's let them down.
Attention Addison Fire Department, special guests and community members. This is Addison Fire Department, Engine 101 and Squad 101 first alarm. You are officially in service. Help those in need and stay safe. Time out 1646.